The two games that kicked off in the early hours of the morning, I decided to do a match reaction for it now. This one finished at like 2 o'clock and the other one finished at like 7, so no, like 5, sorry. So instead of doing them at 2 and 5 o'clock in the morning, I'll just do it now. So the first one, Ivory Coast 1, Ecuador 0. This was a game that I generally thought was going to be game of the tournament. I looked at it and I thought, both teams are quite similar in ability. Both teams have got a few star players. Both teams normally do well at World Cups. Both teams qualify with ease. And that was absolutely abysmal. A ball fest. Amad Diallo, 90th minute winner for the Ivory Coast. And it was on the verge, obviously, until Amad scored, of being the first 0-0 of the tournament. And it probably deserved it. A bit harsh on Ecuador to lose it late on. I thought Ecuador played really well. I thought Ivory Coast played well. Not in terms of in terms of how good they actually were, but compared to what I was expecting and then what we started to get during the game, it was one of those games where like Ecuador would have a few chances, they would have a spell of pressure, then the Ivory Coast would have a spell of pressure, and it would sort of swing. The pendulum would keep swinging, and ultimately it's Ivory Coast to get the job done. In terms of like what this means for the group, Germany won't be worried looking at that. I don't think, they beat Curacao 7-1, got the job done comfortably, did the Germans. But also Curacao might actually look at that result and think, we can get something against one of them. As much as they got battered by Germany 7-1, there was still positives to take, I think, from that performance. You're 7-1 down against the 4-time world champions, and you're still attacking, you're still going for it, trying to make something happen, and you've got to applaud that. You have to applaud that. So they'll be looking at that result thinking, we can get something out of Ecuador, we could get something out of the Ivory Coast. But win is all that matters, isn't it, in a World Cup, especially the group stage, just getting into the knockouts. If you have a slow group stage but then excel in the last 16 quarterfinals or win the tournament, no one's going to be looking at your group stage performance. And I think that's the major takeaway from this. No one's going to be looking at the group stage performance if you win the World Cup. Obviously none of these nations will win the World Cup. It was a good goal by Amad as well. Nice finish from Amad, who's had a bit of a mixed season at Man United this season, or season just gone. But he's got a massive goal for his country. Ivory Coast 1, Ecuador 0. They go level on points with Germany in the group.